Hi, this is NancyJoy, and this is Weekly Reflections. And I don't know about you, but I had quite a week. Maybe it's this Pluto in Capricorn definitely destroying old structures and foundations we talked about last week. But gosh, we're selling our house and eventually moving on here. We've had a more than 10-year issue with our neighbors over an easement that had just escalated into the wildest proportions. And while it's no longer in the legal venue, that hasn't stopped the harassment going on. So when we got some bad news from the county about our sale and all kinds of stuff, just wham, like full force at us. And this comes right after the Alaskan Cruise, where I presented and was kind of the coming out party of my sharing about the 5D emotional grid and where we're all going with this, which I've, posted on these reflections, and they're linked if you want to listen to them. They're pretty good. Very good. They're excellent. They show us how the new 5D emotional grid is nothing like the 3D one, which kept us in good and bad feelings and, fear versus love, that kind of thing. Much duality in that. It's a whole different ballgame now. So stands to reason I would have to test my theory big time, doesn't it? Isn't that the way it works? And so our neighbors, we have a for sale sign up in front of our house, and our driveway is a long driveway, goes out to some pillars onto an easement where their driveway comes across, and then it's shared out to the highway there. And they have been angry at us because the legal things didn't work out, I think, as they would have liked them to. And so they started a year ago by bringing their garbage cans down from their house, which, mind you, 400 yards up the lane from us, and setting them right where our driveway meets the easement. We found out there's nothing we can really do about that. It's their easement. They can put their garbage there. So, all right. And then about maybe a year ago, a big black dumpster showed up, and they placed it right there by the driveway. So then when our for sale sign went up in March, they thought maybe that wasn't quite enough, and they began putting other types of garbage out there. And yesterday we watched them unload a great big old white stuffed chair and set it there, and a big old tire tractor and set it out there. And then just this past couple of weeks, they'd taken to writing unflattering remarks about us in pink paint on this big black construction dumpster. So of course that's harassment, right? They are interfering most definitely with the sale of our home. Who's going to pull up to this for sale sign and see all this and think they want any part of that, right? So anyway, it just boiled over, and you really get conflicted, don't you, when you know the spiritual truth and that we're returning to love and that all this stuff. But the 5D emotional field teaches us not to project our feelings, and I was angry. I was frustrated and furious, and it also anxiety. It's a very stressful situation. And all those things came to a peak like a tsunami for both my husband and I. We each handle it differently. And my mind went through, the emotions took my mind on a wild ride, thinking of all our land totally surrounds them. So we can make their life hell. We have never done that. But boy, my mind went wild on all the things, because evidently we had the sheriff out and the health department out, and they say there's nothing we can do about this. But now it's to a point of harassment. So there's always something you can do, right? But the whole thing about the 5D field, it's not to project these emotions out onto them in a spiteful, revengeful way, because it's going to come back, and then they're going to escalate. We're going to escalate. It's not going to get us anywhere. But then how do you take these intense emotions and handle them spiritually? Well, my little ego, say my old spiritual self, my 3D spiritual self, has learned to stay centered and hold them in the space of love. which is all fine and good, but that has allowed the abuse to continue for some time. And so I realized that I'm just teaching this 5D emotional field. I need to, as it teaches, I need to ride this wave of anger, frustration, and anxiety into myself, not out at them, and let it take me on a ride back to love within my own heart so that I can use this intense energy constructively to create something new. And over a 24-hour period of time, I will have to say, my husband Mark and I did do just that. It helped that we went and had dinner with good friends last night, and boy did we vent. And it felt so good to vent, and they were so supportive. And we got into a lot of laughter, so the intense anger energy turned to laughter. And out of that, the four of us came up with four very honorable, constructive ways to step forward to set a healthy boundary and to end the abuse. And we'll see where they take us, but we certainly feel much, much better. But, so my whole point in sharing this is that when your emotional reaction to something goes over the top, and the old 3D way is to project it outward, or what we used to do in the workshops, take up a bat and just get it all out. Well, how about using this anger, using that intense energy to create something else inside yourself? And I think this is where the new emotional field holds a space of love for us to enter in that world, because every time you do that, it brings those energies, that negative, what we have labeled negative emotions, back into love, brings it back into the heart and uses it constructively. Constructive anger changes things for the good. It makes things better. Destructive anger creates escalation. So I was right away put on an assignment to consciously use my 5D emotional grid in a new way. And I think we have. We'll see where our next steps take us, but I think both my husband and I feel much better. And the big lesson I want to leave everyone with is Ezekiel assured me that holding an emotional space of love in my heart for the situation and for them, I realize she's mentally ill, and she is, and use my dark emotions to create a new way and to direct a creative solution. And he also reminded me that accepting emotional abuse is not spiritual at all. In fact, I am then abusing myself, and this doesn't help them or me. So I can say with all sincerity, may you be blessed. May you both be blessed. The dysfunctional, mentally ill woman and her enabling husband, may you both be blessed. I honor the journey you chose, but I am not going to allow myself to be abused by your journey and your choices. And this brings us back into a much more balanced place. So I invite you to take a look at your life right now, or even in your recent past, or what's coming up. And everybody right now, I think, is dealing with some kind of anxiety or fear or anger. Some of those emotions are happening for sure, because we're about to shift into the golden age. So I invite you to take a look at them in your life and see where you can consciously take them within, bring them back to love, and redirect that energy using it to create something new that is a next step that is constructive for you, and also takes you out of harm's way, out of abusive situations that you may be in. So please catch the magic, and remember that Ezekiel has shared, this is quote, "I was created from love and given a full spectrum of emotional energy to assist you on your return to journey as you return to love. I have no judgment about this wide range of feelings and the value of each of their ability to return you to your own heart." So catch the magic. Have a great week. There's a blue moon Saturday. That's 2 moons in 1 month. I think it was July 1st. And we'll have another full moon July 30th. So check out the blue moon. And it's a more intense form of completion as that rises. And isn't that fine, taking us into the August, September, October. Have a great week. Take care of who you are. Bye now.